Terror in the depths. A shroud of nightfall lay over the small coastal town of Long Cove when a group of friends decided to go fishing. Mark, Jessica, Tom, and Sarah, all recent college graduates, wanted to enjoy one last summer before starting their adult lives. They took Mark's father's boat and ventured far into the ocean. They had fun, told stories, and shared dreams about the future. The moon illuminated their path, and the sea seemed calm and friendly. But this calmness was deceptive. For hours, the friends cast their lines, but there were no catches. Suddenly, Tom's fishing reel began to spin wildly. He grabbed the rod, and his friends rushed to help him reel in the huge fish. But their joy quickly turned to horror when they realized they had not caught a fish. From the depths emerged a huge shadow, a shark. It was much larger and more ferocious than any shark they had ever seen. Its eyes glowed in the dark, and it seemed to stare right into their souls. It wrapped the rope around the boat, and they felt their vessel slowly being pulled down. Mark, trying to cut the rope, suddenly heard a terrifying crack. With one powerful tug, the shark overturned the boat. The water engulfed them with cold, merciless force. Panicking, trying to reach the surface, they realized their situation had become much worse. Jessica, the smartest of them, suggested they stick together and swim to shore. But every time they started to move, the shark attacked again, circling them like a shadow of death. It was incredibly fast, and every time someone tried to swim away, it struck. Tom was the first to disappear. He bravely swam alone, hoping to distract the shark. His scream shattered the night silence, and then there was an eerie stillness. The remaining three realized in horror that they would never see their friend again. Mark, Jessica, and Sarah, holding hands, tried to stay afloat. They heard only their heavy breathing and the splash of the waves. But the shark was not going to let them go. It circled around them like a predator playing with its prey. Sarah, trembling with fear and cold, began to lose consciousness. Mark and Jessica tried to support her, but the shark struck again, grabbing Sarah and dragging her into the depths. Their screams echoed over the water, but no one came to help. Mark and Jessica were left alone. They knew that if they didn't reach the shore, they would die. They tried to swim together, but the shark kept chasing them. Mark, desperate, suggested Jessica swim ahead while he stayed behind to try to distract the shark. When Jessica turned to see Mark one last time, she saw only blood-stained water. She screamed, but understood that she had to keep swimming. Her strength was fading, but fear drove her forward. Finally, exhausted and barely alive, she reached the shore. Soon, local fishermen found her, having heard her screams. Jessica survived, but she could never forget the horror she had endured. Years later, she returned to Long Cove. They said that the shark that tormented her friends was still out there in the depths of the ocean, waiting for its next victim. But Jessica knew one thing: she would never return to that cursed place again. Depths of Dread. The small coastal town of Blackwater Bay was known for its picturesque views and peaceful beaches, but beneath the surface of its calm waters lay a dark secret, one that the locals rarely spoke of and tourists never knew. It was a place where nightmares thrived. One warm summer evening, 4 friends decided to spend their last weekend before college on a fishing trip. Alex, Rachel, Chris, and Megan had grown up together, their bond forged by years of shared adventures and dreams. They borrowed Alex's father's old boat and set sail, eager to create one last memory together. The sea was calm, the water like glass under the setting sun. As they sailed farther from the shore, they laughed and reminisced, the future seeming bright and boundless. Hours passed as they fished, catching nothing but small, insignificant fish. But their spirits were high, buoyed by the beauty of the night and the company of friends. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Chris's line suddenly went taut. "Hey guys, I think I've got something," he exclaimed, struggling with the rod. The others gathered around, excitement turning to unease as the boat began to sway. Whatever was on the line was strong, too strong. With a final heave, Chris managed to reel in his catch. A monstrous shadow rose from the depths, and a massive shark broke the surface, its eyes glowing with an eerie luminescence. Panic set in as the shark thrashed, wrapping the line around the boat and pulling them with incredible force. The vessel groaned under the strain, tipping dangerously. Within moments, the boat capsized and the friends were plunged into the frigid, dark water. They surfaced, gasping for air, clinging to the overturned hull. The shark had disappeared, but the fear was palpable. Rachel, the calmest among them, tried to rally the group. "We need to stay together," she said, her voice steady despite the terror in her eyes. "If we do, we have a better chance." Minutes felt like hours as they floated in the dark water, their breath visible in the cool night air. Then, without warning, the water around them churned. Chris was suddenly pulled under. The others looked around frantically, but he was gone. "Swim for the shore," Alex shouted, adrenaline surging through him. "Now!" They began to swim, their strokes frantic and desperate. The shore seemed impossibly far, but they pushed on, driven by pure terror. Megan, lagging behind, felt something pull her down, and she, too, disappeared beneath the water. "Keep going," Rachel urged, tears streaming down her face. "We can't stop." The shark circled them, a dark shadow beneath the surface. Alex and Rachel swam with every ounce of strength they had, their bodies screaming in protest. Rachel suddenly felt something brush against her leg and was pulled under. "Alex, go! Don't stop!" she yelled in her final moment. Alex, fueled by a mix of fear and desperation, swam harder than ever. His arms and legs burned, his lungs ready to burst, but he didn't stop. The shore was so close he could see the lights of the beach houses. With a final burst of energy, he stumbled onto the sand, collapsing in exhaustion. He lay there, coughing and sobbing, the weight of what had happened crashing down on him. The shark's silhouette lingered in the distance, a reminder of the nightmare he had just survived. In the days that followed, Alex couldn't shake the memory of his friends' cries and the sight of them disappearing. Blackwater Bay was no longer a place of peace for him. It was a graveyard of lost innocence. Rumors spread through the town of the giant shark that haunted the bay, but no one truly believed the horror Alex described. They called it a freak accident, a tragic tale of misfortune. But Alex knew the truth. The shark was still out there, lurking in the depths, waiting for its next victim. And every night as he lay in bed, the sound of the waves would carry him back to that night, to the terror in the moonlit waters, and to the friends he would never see again. The abyssal predator, the terror in the depths, would haunt him forever. Shadows beneath the moonlight. Along the coastline of the small town of Lunar Bay stood an old lighthouse, its light flickering over the dark waves as if warning sailors to stay away from the unpredictable depths. This town was renowned for its beauty and tranquility, yet beneath its calm surface lurked a terrifying secret that haunted its residents with ancient dread. The story began many years ago when the old lighthouse was still new and the sea seemed endless and mysterious. On one such night of the full moon, a group of young fishermen set out into the open sea in search of a bountiful catch. Among them were brothers James and Michael, their friends Dan and Andy, and a newcomer to fishing, Allison. Beneath the shimmering moonlight on the surging waves of the ocean, they felt free and powerful. But with each passing hour, the sea grew darker, and the atmosphere grew more tense. Far from shore, their boat began to rock on unusually high waves, and an eerie sense of foreboding filled the air. Suddenly, from the depths emerged a massive shark, its silhouette looming against the moonlit sky. Fear gripped the fishermen as they realized they were facing something much larger and more dangerous than just a fish. The shark seemed enormous and ravenous, ready to strike at any moment. Panic caused them to make several mistakes that could cost them their lives. James lost his balance and fell overboard, and in attempting to save him, Michael was seized by the terrifying predator. The remaining fishermen screamed, trying to call for help, but the sea swallowed their cries. When the sunlight once again illuminated the ocean, rescuers found only the wreckage of the boat and a few shards. The tale of the missing fishermen became the subject of debate and rumors among the residents of Lunar Bay. But one thing was clear: they would never return. With each passing year, people turned to the legend of the curse hanging over this place. The shark that claimed the lives of the fishermen was merely a tool in the hands of a powerful sea spirit that cursed these waters. Now, as the sunset rays illuminated the Lunar Bay lighthouse, its light seemed somewhat ominous, as if the beacon warned of the mysterious danger lurking in the depths of the ocean.